And let's see if YouTube cut this off again. Greetings, robots and robotesses. We have returned once again for the late show. This time hoping we can actually get somebody other than the Red Robot to say something, because let's face it, I'm only so exciting and in small doses, which is why I weigh several tons. No, I don't come in small doses. Ooh, that sounded terrible. Anyhow, this one is, it came from the late show to El Eclectic Boogaloo, which is, let's talk about that one. For those of you who are used to the term, I believe, is well, basically the running gag is if something is an unnecessary sequel, you can call it, Electric Boogaloo or something close to it. And apparently that is a snow clone? Huh. Okay, so it's like a... okay, I get it. I was looking it up on Wikipedia. Apparently, if Eskimos have N words for snow, X surely have M words for Y. Basically, it's one of those transferable to other effects. And yeah, unnecessary sequels equal Electric Boogaloo or something like it. Actually, Eclectic Boogaloo is a reference to an album by, crap, I can't remember his name now. Let's see here. Yeah, see, okay. See, if this one is starting even worse than usual, it's because my brain is gone really early for work today, and it did not go well. Dr. Steele, that's what it was. Dr. Steele had an album called Eclectic Boogaloo, and that's what I'm referencing directly. So yeah, whoops. Man, I tell you what. So I was going to try to do another round of, the same thing as last time, except somebody else talking, because I had already pretty well run my little robot mouth ragged about last time about movies, or at least, well, not necessarily ragged, but I talked about movies enough as it was. Let's see here. Okay, let me see if we can get Eclectic Crafter invited. Let me go ahead and send another invite to him. Let's see here. There we are. Okay, I'm going to send an invite to you. You should see it show up in your thing on the page, and it should give you a link to pull into the episode, as it were. I can also see here. Let me see the link here. And I apologize if this. I'm not trying to be vague about it. I'm just trying to not send it everywhere. Hold on a moment. Let's see here. Because we kind of did this last time, and me there. Also, see if it'll go as an email. So check your email. There should be a link for the chat, and if you click on it, it should bring you in. Which is interesting, because that means I know you're watching, but it's not showing it up as an email. There's the link, but we don't want to leave that link just hanging out everywhere. So hopefully, yeah, it's shared privately, so you should see it just yourself. So on the little chat for the little postings for this particular discussion. If you click on that link, it should bring you in. So for those of you listening, we're having technical difficulties because we're dorks and didn't get this tested out properly beforehand. That's okay. It's a learning process, right, guys? And this way you can watch some grown YouTubers make fools of themselves for public consumption. Isn't that fun? So we'll see if we can get this to work. And get there. Okay. There. Maybe I can get you stuck in on the side here. No? What happens if I hit that? That creates a new one. We don't need to do that. That's completely useless. So technical difficulties aside, we're going to try and get this to work. So bear with us, folks. Well, we might edit out the boring bits for those watching later. If you're watching live, then good luck. So there's in the chat, in the description list here, it should show up a link, and then I can try and send you another invite. There goes another try at it. Doop doop dooby doop doop doo. Come on, ice cream. That, by the way, relates to a joke. I use that phrase occasionally. So, guy on a dare eats hot pepper, and he's like, "Man, this is amazingly hot." His friend goes, "Well, tell you what, eat a little ice cream, and that'll cover it for you." He's like, "Okay." So later they're drinking, and that works out for him. So later they're drinking, and he goes, "Hey, I bet I could take 2 of those." And his friend's like, "No way, man." So this continues for quite a while until all the hot peppers in the house are gone, and all the ice cream in the house is gone. And about 3 hours later, the guy's sitting on the toilet going, "Oh God, come on ice cream, come on ice cream." It doesn't work so well on the other side. Oh, hey, look, we might have a viewer. And if you came in on that joke, I'm really, really sorry. On the other hand, if you thought that was funny, then I'm not sorry. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Ha. All right, let's see if we can get our guests of honor in. And so far, nope. All right, let's try this again. Any luck? Any luck? Bueller? Now here's a thought. Speaking of movies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Does anyone want to know what kind of message that we're trying to send? How to creatively fuck off. Oh, hey.
Oh, hello.
Hooray! Welcome in.
Hey. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can. And hopefully the audience can hear you too. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a show with more than me in it. Congratulations. You no longer have to put up with my crap all night long. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start off with this. I tend to, for comedic effect, and also just because the internet is what it is. Obviously, I use my nom de spew, my pseudonym is the Red Robot. How should I refer to you?
You can just call me Don or the Eclectic Crafter. I don't really care.
Okay, I like eclectic. That's fun. So, how much of my previous rant did you get to sit through?
A good portion of it. I got to the you talking about the ice cream and the hot peppers.
Okay. Well, okay. So, well, yeah. The other part of it was really just time filler. So, hopefully we'll be able to share this video back and forth for our respective channels. But anyway, so
yeah, hopefully.
On the assumption that the first people listening to this might be my handful of subscribers, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm not too sure there's much to talk about myself. I'm really into Minecraft, and I like trying to find feminist videos and rebuttal them.
Okay. I've watched some of your videos. I will be honest, I didn't come across your channel until the whole Bane's List thing, but that's probably mutual.
Yeah, the same with me.
Figured. And for those, in case this, hopefully, what I'm hoping to get it to where this video we can pop it on your channel, and vice versa. So for those of you who do not know who I am the Red Robot. I am more of a pop culture and news commentator. Feminist issues and men's rights issues are something I do, but I wouldn't call it my primary thing. Oh, but the way the internet is, I swear to Pete, it's everywhere. It's like a disease, itchy and scratchy.
Yeah.
So the last time I had kind of gone on for, well, it was almost an hour about movies that had some sort of influence on me, not necessarily intentionally, but that was kind of the theme I was going with, just talking about movies that we run into early in life that had some sort of positive or negative effect on our worldview afterwards. So since I spewed last time, I'll let you go first. Anything pop into mind?
I don't really watch too much movies. I watch the Super Mario Brothers movies, and that really got me into Super Mario.
So you watched the Super Mario Brothers movie with the one with Bob Hoskins?
Yeah, and then the little series they had.
Oh gosh, you mean the live action one or the animated one?
The animated one.
Okay, good. Well, wait. To be fair, I think the live action one wasn't the full show. They were just kind of sort of had almost like bumpers, and then some animated stuff. So my memory on it's a bit fuzzy.
Yeah, me too.
I have to feel bad for anyone that was involved in the Super Mario Brothers movie, because as I understand it, it was a train wreck in all directions. But some people look back on it very fondly. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I remember watching somebody's review of it, and they thought it was a really good movie, and I'm like, you were really high. Because when I was a little kid, it was kind of interesting, but by the time it had come out, I think old enough that it was really I don't know how to put this. I didn't quite have the wide-eyed expression to it. I was very much what the hell does this have to do with Mario again? Well, was there anything about the Mario movie that you really liked, or was it just your kind of introduction to the whole concept?
Yeah, just my introduction to the whole concept. I was like maybe 2 or 3.
Oh gosh, that puts a significant age difference between us. How old are you, roughly speaking?
I'm 22.
Okay, yeah, I have 20 years on you.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, I came off the assembly line a long time ago. Unfortunately, there's some baling wire and spit holding me together, but that's what it And then on that note, also with the red robot thing, obviously I don't actually think I'm a robot. I just needed an icon, and it was fun. But ever since having watched Teal Deer occasionally insert a little joke in his videos about actually being a teal deer, I thought, fuck it, let's run with that because that's hysterical. Hopefully, it's slightly funny.
Yes, it is funny. But did you make your own design, or did you find it somewhere?
Oh, this icon. It is from somewhere. It's I found it on the internet. I can't remember the artist's name. Unfortunately, and that's one of the reasons if you look at like my YouTube page, it shows the copyright logo because I'm not stealing it. I have no idea who it's from. I can't remember, but I'm getting the maintenance girl to make me some original art. Unfortunately, that's what she does for a living. So getting time for her to do her job when she's not working is kind of difficult because at this point she's been doing art for a living for so long. Doing it for free, even for me, is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll have a new icon relatively soon. But I have to do some of the design myself because mecha is not her thing. So except for me, she likes my mecha, but that's about the size of it. So the Mario movie you mentioned, you said you're really into Minecraft, and so since it's this this show is us, let's just go ahead and go into that. So what do you is there any, because some people have, and in case speaking of which, that reminds me, Teal Deer has a video having a bit of fun with someone's parody of feminists, like a feminist critique of Minecraft. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I think so.
And he was
trying to remember it.
He was citing some internet law about when parody so close, even the most outrageous parody so closely resembles what it's trying to make fun of that it kind of curves in on itself, and you're not sure.
Yeah, it's Poe's Law.
Poe's Law, yeah, that's what it is. Poe's Law. Unfortunately, I've been on the internet so long that I remember when Godwin's Law was new, when every discussion would eventually at some point diverge into Nazis.
Yeah,
Nazi comparisons, but Poe's Law is new to me. That's an interesting thought. So let me ask, does Minecraft have anything that kind of speaks to you philosophically? I mean, I know it's it's Legos with video games to some extent, but
besides the lack of gravity in most of things, I just think you can create anything in life, just like in Minecraft.
Because I was thinking. Go ahead.
But that's about it. I've made my own character. The one you're seeing now, I actually have a 3D design where I actually did all this myself.
Yeah, I like him. He's neat, and that's not the stock Minecraft guy, is it?
Right.
Because I think that was one of the things about Minecraft that I've played a little bit of it. Ironically, I haven't played a lot of it because back when it wasn't quite as popular as it is now, and you could buy it straight from Notch's site, and it was still technically in beta or something. I don't remember. But my wife was into it and wanted me to play too, and and for some reason I couldn't get my payment method to process, so I never got it. Which, and now in hindsight, I regret because I probably have a lot of fun with it because it is basically build whatever, and it struck me as sort of in its own way a lot like a lot of other open world games. It's one of those. It is what you make of it. You are quite literally in a one-person meritocracy. Whatever happens is entirely your fault or your responsibility, or you get credit for all of it. Because as I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, you start out with nothing, some clothes, and your bare hands.
Yeah, you don't even get clothing.
Oh, really?
You're basically nude.
Oh crap! So it's like, there's this survival game. Oh, is it Rust? where you start out naked, and they literally went through the trouble of doing the physics for your manhood as it flops around.
Yep.
Like, oh my god, okay, got it. Look, realism aside, just give the fuckers a loincloth, okay? I mean, and give the ladies a cloth kini or something. Just no.
Well, at least they have a
waste of
female
physics
model
engine,
now.
isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see here. Oh, here, speaking of YouTubing and the Bane and the B list, the Bane's list. How did you run across Bane anyway? Was it what connected you to him? Because I assume you subscribed at some point.
Yeah, I am subscribed, but that's a good question. Maybe Sargon. I think I got to Bane from him, or the Teal Deer.
Yeah, that's a good question. I asked that question, then I realized, I don't know the answer to that myself. Because, well, the part of the reason why I don't know the answer, and this is my excuse, I'm sticking to it. I originally watched these channels under a different username, but then I realized, you know what? I felt like ranting on the internet at various things and typing. I'm kind of lazy, and I'm also not a very good typist. So I thought, if I just talk into the internet, and the Sargon style of having a picture and just talking about stuff worked fairly well for me. Unfortunately, he also does some more editing and stuff like that, which I'm terrible at. I can't even get somebody on a YouTube on one of these things worth a damn. So, I'll take the blame for that one. So I started up a new channel, this one here, and have, as much as possible, divorced any connection to that, because it's one of those where I'm not arrogant enough to think that I'll be popular enough to be doxxed, but eventually someone will be bored enough to dox me or try to. They'll just get bored enough to try it.
Yeah, eventually the shit's gonna hit the fan.
Yeah, because all I have to do is insult the right person.
Yeah.
And I've seen the response videos. Those I've seen some people do them, and I don't do them very well because I don't do the video splicing. So my best, I kid you not, I've been reduced to playing the video I'm talking about on my computer, so it picks up, the microphone picks it up, and then going, well, see here, this is the thing. And I can't imagine that delivery works well.
Yeah. It's hard a lot of times. I've broken at least 5 different headphones and other microphones.
Yeah,
it's not easy doing this.
No, my microphone actually sits on my desk. I don't have a headset, so if there's any echo from the room, that's what it is.
Okay.
Am I watching this? Hold on a moment. I am not. Okay, good. I want to make sure there wasn't like this huge echo going through the audio, because I'm doing this the way I normally do my videos. So,
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of echo, but I thought it was coming from me.
Yep. Hopefully it is. But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Because these are still kind of prototyping the concept. I was hoping we could get some more people on. Now I've got another one of these scheduled for Sunday. And we might get some either some more people or some different people. And I would personally, if anyone's listening to this, if you want to, it's not, I don't know how popular these sort of chats are with other people, but I like to listen to them. I like the the Honey Badgers podcast. I listen to that quite often. And there's like an hour and a half of like 6 people talking, and I'll listen to those things while I'm doing something else. Like I'll be playing Star Trek Online or something, and I'm listening to that while I'm doing relatively mundane tasks in video games.
Yeah, ditto.
So what I need to do at some point is to figure out how to basically get the video from a game I'm playing onto one of these things. I mean, I could do it by share screen, I suppose, but that seems cumbersome. Have you done that before? I haven't gone backwards in your channel too much yet, so I don't know if you've done anything like a Let's Play video.
No, I have a channel for that, but it uses my real name, and I don't know if I want that responsibility yet. to people to actually know.
Yeah. Because my personal channel, so to speak, doesn't use my real name, but there's enough connections in it that if you were persistent, you could figure out who I was from the stuff that I have on my personal channel. Whereas this is the Red Robot stuff. So
Yeah.
So that's. But if you figure out how to do that with this Hangout stuff, let me know. I might actually do some of that.
Yeah. Okay. I barely got on here.
Yeah, fair enough. But hopefully we'll get better at that because I got a while back. I got Ritten's Playhouse on for a little bit. I didn't delete the video. I just hit it because it was really just a test thing. But I did talk to him just a little bit, so hopefully we can get another video call with him because he seems like a fun guy. He's a mushroom. He's a fun guy. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I try to be funny in my videos, but I don't know if it just comes off as horribly corny or what. But who knows?
Oh no. I just hope I get everything.
Yeah, that's true. There's a 2-decade gap between us. So yeah, some of these jokes might just go.
Yep.
Like the subtext for this show, because it's number 2, of course, the running gag is, something 2, Electric Boogaloo. Well, that's from a really old and really bad movie called Breakin', which was a breakdancing movie, and like within the same year they came out with a sequel. That's how just they cheap rushed out a sequel at a velocity that stunned people. Because it's not like with they film movies back to back. Yeah. But I referenced it also to an old musician who's apparently retired now called Dr. Steele.
Yes, as soon as I saw what you posted, I was looking for it, and I found Dr. Steele too.
Yeah, Dr. Steele's a lot of fun. One of his albums is called Eclectic Boogaloo. Apparently, it's his second album, so he's in on the gag too. But I didn't really expect to enjoy his stuff so much, but I got introduced to it by somebody like at the tail end of his career when he so I never had the chance to actually like go see him because he's in LA. I'm in the Midwest, so not happening. Which is a shame because there's a certain era where he would have been able to, with the right fan connections, or if he was willing, because I know some other bands have been invited to conventions. Like in DFW, for instance, an anime convention had, I'm blanking on their names. They're a steampunk band, the Air Pirate song. It was Abney Park. Fairly small band, but there's an anime convention called Project Acon in DFW, which usually has enough funding to import bands from Japan, but occasionally they'll get other bands that are popular with fans of anime that aren't necessarily animated. So I thought Dr. Steele would have a good chance of getting that gig, but he'd retired before then apparently.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, if you can catch him on YouTube, there's some good videos there. The songs are nice, but he also did a couple of like songs with music videos with a slight plot, like he was in his lab and stuff was happening. So that's some good stuff if you can dig it up. If I remember where I put it, I'll see if I can link it in the description.
Oh, okay.
So you mentioned that you do the Minecraft, obviously. Are there any other games you're big on?
Well, anything Super Mario related. Those are one of my favorite games. One of the first games I played was Super Mario RPG.
I've played that, but I haven't had a chance to complete it. I really liked it because I like the RPGs, but I never get a chance to finish it. At this point, I'm going to have to resort to an emulator to manage it, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, no,
but they also have it
in the Wii store, isn't it?
Yeah. For I think maybe $10.
Oh, hey, at that price, yeah, heck yeah. Let's see here, because there was that. Well, yeah, here's another thing. I think, come to think of it, as far as Mario goes, I'm a bit of a, I guess, a heretic, depending on where you were at in the fandom over the years. I actually really liked Super Mario 2, and still being fully aware that the 2 that we got here was a reskin of Doki Doki Panic. I still thought it was really good, and my favorite character was Toad.
I don't think I played that one.
Really? Okay. Have you played the original, right?
I am not sure.
It seems weird to me that someone's a Mario fan and hasn't, and that's not a criticism, because there's so much Mario material out there. It's perfectly legitimate to be a big fan of Mario games and not having played the original, because let's face it, that's an old game. It really is. Well, what I would recommend is when you get a chance, play, if you can get if they have it on the Wii store or something, play the second one, even because the first one is balls out and Nintendo hard. Well, I'm going to get some criticism for that, because my idea of hard is not. I'm not a hard. How to put this? I'm a hardcore gamer of some game types, but most games, particularly platformers, I like a middle difficulty. If it's too easy, it's boring. But if it's too hard, I'm just like, look, I don't want to spend 10 hours trying to learn the move of one enemy. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I'm too old.
My second game would probably be Disgaea 2, and then the third, Obscure 2.
Now, Disgaea I have never played, but a friend of mine introduced me to the anime series, which is fairly short. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw a few episodes of it.
I thought it was pretty darn funny, but again, I hadn't played the games, because a lot of the tactical RPGs I'm not especially good at. For whatever reason, for some reason I have this tendency to flub those early on, and that costs you a lot as you go on. At least it seems that way to me. Speaking of that, though, I have been playing one because there's robots and there's a robot involved. I'm gonna blame it on that Chroma Squad. It's available on Steam for like $15. Basically, it's a parody of the old Power Ranger shows, and it's a tactical RPG.
And what's its name?
Chroma Squad.
Okay.
And it's really blocky too. It's basically sort of like 8-bit. I don't want to say 8-bit graphics. It's more like 16-bit graphics. So like Super NES era, which is before your time, but
yeah,
a little bit. I have gotten used to the notion that I'm old. And one of the things that's really weird is there's still a pop culture nostalgia for Mario and lots of old NES stuff. And I see people with this stuff, and I'm looking at sometimes I'll see people with an 8-bit Mario thing, or Princess Peach or something, and just look at them, and I'm thinking in the back of my head, going, "You little shit! You weren't even a naughty thought in your father's nutsack when this stuff was out." I mean, your mother hadn't had her first menstrual cycle when this shit came out. What the fuck? That just makes me feel old. But on the other hand, I guess, the thing is, there's nothing quite like that for me, because when I was a kid, the concept of home video games was literally in its inception. I mean, an Atari. I've actually played an old school Atari when they were still selling the fucking games in the Toys R Us. That's how far back I go. It's sad.
Damn.
I literally there's nothing that you would call it would be recognizable as a video game now that is older than I am, which is scary. I've played board games that predate me, but that's it. So I really have no perspective on what that has to be like.
I'm not really sure what I like either. I like actiony games, but something that requires strategy.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do like about video games now is there's old school gamers can say what they want, but there's just a level of complexity that has just gone just doesn't exist. It didn't exist before, and now you can do these things. And
Yeah.
hello, maintenance girl has come to say hello.
Hi.
Hello.
This is the eclectic crafter. He plays Minecraft.
Okay.
Well, my fiance is right next to me. She's watching something on Netflix.
Yeah, what do you guys like on Netflix?
Oh, well, we just got finished maybe a month or two ago watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I've never seen that, and for my generation, that's kind of a weird thing. I talk to other people my age, and they're like, "You haven't seen Buffy?" I'm like, "No."
And something I really like now is because of her, Doctor Who.
Oh. See, now that one does predate me. See, Doctor Who. When I was a little kid, Doctor Who was the shit. It was my thing. I was completely into it because the fourth Doctor, Tom Baker, his whole arc, at least in the United States, when it was broadcast here on the public access channel or the PBS, the public broadcasting channel.
Ah, yeah.
That run encompassed a large part of my preteen to teenage years because he was the Doctor for 4 years at least. He was there for a long time.
Yeah.
So when I think of Doctor Who, that's the first person that pops in my head: the floppy hat, the long scarf, the big frock coat, and would you like a jelly baby? That's Doctor Who to me. But I'm aware that that's weird to people these days.
Yeah, these doctors have a whole different personality from those of the past.
They do, and the writing is a little more. And it's one of those where it's kind of like the video games. It's more complex, but on the flip side, one of the things I do think they occasionally miss, and I wish they wouldn't, was that Doctor Who has never been overtly, or even really in the most direct way, political. It's never been political commentary. And whenever Doctor Who sniffs even close to that, I think it loses its way.
Yeah, he's just supposed to be unbiased
and
loves everyone, basically.
He's somewhat a neutral observer. I mean, he has standards of between good and evil, but to some extent, he's there pretty much just to explore. And when they rebooted it, for the most part, they kept that. But every once in a while, they would kind of try to do commentary, and it's like it would just sort of, at least to me. And the new Master is just a joke. No. He needs to have the goatee and the mustache and a bit of moo-ha-ha. He needs to be a vaudevillain. That's just me. Speaking of Netflix, have you seen Arrow?
Arrow, the Green Arrow?
Yeah, the Green Arrow show.
I don't think so. Cassie, have you ever watched the Green Arrow together? Oh, she watched it, not me.
Okay, I recommend it. It's a really great superhero show, and me and the maintenance girl really enjoyed it. And I honestly think part of the reason the maintenance girl liked it a lot was because of the muscle. There's a lot of eye candy for the ladies and the gents who swing that way, as well as some for the guys too. But it's a great show. And Daredevil's also awesome, by the way.
Oh yes, that is really good.
That's one of those where, if you haven't seen the Daredevil movie, I want to recommend it, but a lot of people really didn't like it, comic book fans especially, for some reason, and I didn't understand that. I thought it was a good movie. Now, I didn't think it was a great movie, but it was good. But my standards, I guess, have become a bit come from a bit older period because comic book movies used to be kind of like sci-fi movies. Apart from a few gems, most of them were you were happy when it wasn't terrible.
Yeah.
And then we got spoiled by the not the second or third Spider-Man movie, but the first one with the oh shit, I can't remember his name now. Tobey Maguire. The first really good not the most recent Spider-Man movies series with that with the scrawnier guy whose name I can't recall. But the trio that ended with Sandman in it, and then like 3 villains all at once stuffed in the movie, which is a bad idea. Anyway, so yeah, but the Daredevil TV show is awesome, and I can't wait for the next season because me and her we binge watched that darn thing. Because I think
I'm trying to look it up right now.
Okay. What I thought was interesting about the Daredevil, the TV show, the one on Netflix, is that they made the Kingpin, while still no question that he's evil, they took a weird turn in introducing him as a character. And at first, she's like, "What the fuck is up with this guy?" And I was personally thinking, seeing some of the previous characterizations of him, just going, "What the hell?" But as I got into it, I realized that they were going at a side angle to give us a character who was complex and to some extent understandable, but still evil. But you could kind of understand it. It reminded me a little bit of once you see Arrow, the initial villain in the first season of Arrow, who I won't spoil it, but she'll know what I'm talking about. The guy, there was a similar arc of trying to destroy something to save it, but the angle that they went with Kingpin was internally very different, and I really liked it because you got this sense that of just barely suppressed violence constantly, and when it went loose, it was just all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, bam, crushes some motherfucker's head with a car door. Whoa! Dude.
Do you think he's chaotic evil or more of lawful evil?
Well,
or what spectrum do you think he is?
I think. Well, my first blush at it would be to say that he's lawful evil because he's trying to bring order. You might argue chaotic with his outbursts, but it's not the things that people do when they lose control that defines their alignment, I think, because those things make you waffle off course, and the character recognizes it. He wants to be orderly and controlled. When he fucking loses it, he has a problem with it after the fact. That means that he does not mean to be chaotic. So I would say he's lawful or neutral evil. But I'm going to go with lawful since his overarching goal seems to be to bring order.
Yeah. And the first Peter Parker was Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire, yeah, that's what I was thinking, because that first movie changed changed the game, as it were, for good superhero movies. Because prior to that, I could be corrected on this, but I want to say that prior to that, the first good superhero movie that I can think of are the Blade movies. Which are really good, and people often don't think of them as superhero movies because Blade doesn't seem like a superhero at first. But you have to remember he is a comic book hero, and also that puts a sort of a stick pin in the diversity thing, because the first decent superhero movie in pretty much ever was a black superhero and a vampire, and it didn't suck. Oh, that reminds me. Hidden out there in the Ethernet is a Blade TV show.
Oh yeah.
I really enjoyed it. It did not do well, unfortunately. I think it only did a season.
Yeah, I don't think it had anywhere as near violence as the movie did.
No,
I think it was more child friendly.
Well, kind of. I think it didn't have as much violence because they had a lower budget. Because vampires explode.
Yeah.
In Blade, but on the other hand, it had a lot of suggestive themes, so maybe it wasn't for kids, but my recollection may have been fuzzy.
It didn't one for me.
No, I think it actually did make a second season. I could be. I think I'm wrong with that. I think it actually made it partway into season 2. I'm not sure, but the guy that got to play Blade, they just said, you know what, fuck it, we're not going to worry about whether or not he looks like Wesley Snipes. They got this rapper. His name is, and I kid you not, his stage name is Sticky Fingers. I'm like, dude, that is. There are so many jokes that go along with that. Are you sure you want that as your rapper name? It's more like a porn name.
Yeah.
But he did a much more understated Blade. He didn't try to do Wesley Snipes' delivery at all. He just said, "Fuck it, I'm just doing my own thing," which I think was necessary. Really, really necessary.
Well, it puts more character into the person.
Well, Blade is kind of I don't know. I can't say that I'm a fan of the original comics. I read a few, but I want to say that he's like a lot of 80s comic book heroes. The portrayal of him in the movies is I think is fairly spot on. He's a little larger than life and kind of not as quippy as say Spider-Man, but I'm not sure. It's one of those where the comics you suffer under a writer and it can change the character's personality radically.
Yeah. I'm sorry for not talking too much.
Oh, it's okay. I tend to be that way. So if I tend to over talk, just reach for the eject button. There's nobody in the cockpit right now, but it'll get my attention.
Okay.
Or
because
basically,
I'm
tell me
just
shut
not
up.
really good at it.
Did you hear her?
I'm not really good. Yeah. What did she say?
Go on, do it again.
Just tell him to shut up.
Oh.
Yeah, maintenance girl's not
I'm
afraid
just
to tap me in the cockpit with a wrench.
Okay. But it's not
that's
your fault.
If I have screws loose, that's because you've been slacking. You need to screw me more.
Wait a second.
I think I need my oil changed. Yeah. Also, on train of thought for TV shows that connect to movie franchises. Have you seen the? Are you a fan of the Terminator series at all? Which is
Yes.
I
don't know if a fan is really the best word, but I just kind of watch it here and there.
Okay, well, I got to admit, the series is hit or miss. I mean, really, the first 2 movies were I want to say those are the only really good ones. Not that the others were bad; they just weren't great. I have never had the urge to rewatch any of the later movies. The first 2, sure,
Yeah.
But for that same kind of thing of being translated to TV, there was a series of the Sarah Connor Chronicles, the Terminator show, and that was amazing. It was done very well, and it's one of those because you've probably seen a few shows where they have characters that you protagonists that don't get along. They have diverging goals, and they managed to make that happen and seem really tense without the characters all devolving into assholes, which is the problem with Battlestar Galactica. Which is another thing I'm old enough to remember the original on TV. And I'll own up right now, it is cheesy as fuck. But yeah, I actually have the Blu-rays for the first season of the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which was a short season. They basically flew that down and said, okay, well, this fly, and then the network bought a full second season, but that's where they stopped, unfortunately.
Oh.
But it has. Have you watched Game of Thrones?
Here and there, yeah.
Okay. Cersei Lannister, the blonde villain.
The kid?
No,
the Kid King?
The king's mother.
Oh, the king's mother, yeah.
Okay. That's the lady who plays Sarah Connor. And
Oh, okay.
and to give you an idea that her, I think she's an underestimated actress because when I saw her, and I forgot while watching the first couple episodes and went, oh shit, it's Leona Helmsley again, and because that's how not just her costuming, but the actress herself. I forgot who the fuck she was. This is the same person who played that character because they were completely different. There are some recognizable bits of the strong edge to her voice when she wants something done, but otherwise the characterization, to me anyway, seemed completely different. So I would recommend that one too.
Okay.
And there's another thought. If we're going to get to our sort of raison d'etre of your channel as a little bit of mine, that's also a show that has gone completely ignored by feminists, as far as I know, despite having a female lead title character. She is literally the strong female archetype that they claim they want. But whenever they talk about these sort of things, they never talk about her. Why, I have no idea. But the driving character in that whole thing is Sarah Connor, and it also is a different character. I think a very different characterization from the movies, but I don't think that's anything more than the fact they had time to work on her story, her character arc. In the show as opposed to the movies.
Yeah, and that leads to a good question. Why don't they do her?
I think the reason why, and of course, like Buffy might be a good example. I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it. But how come that doesn't come up more? Because you would think if they were wanting to tell us, well, we need more of X type characters, they'd be happy to point to examples. But I think what it is, I'm gonna say, unless someone is overtly feminist. The character being overtly feminist, they're not interested in it being part of the narrative. Because I think they're hoping the flag, if they're not flying the flag, then they're not really there.
Yeah.
And
It's more of the feminists that say just I can't get my thoughts together. That's why I do videos.
I understand.
Okay.
You're intimidated by my shiny carapace.
Yes.
Well, then I do mostly off the cuff. That's where I operate best. When I start to navel gaze, I tend to fuck things up.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is more in my environment than yours, but that's okay. Hopefully, either way, this will get the idea across. But I think that reminds me. I don't know. Speaking back to video games, have you seen the video, the criticisms of the Anita Sarkeesian video talking about? Oh shit! Forgot the name of the game now.
Jade or the Scythian?
What was the name of the game? Processor.
The Scythian?
Huh?
The Scythian or Jade?
No, I was thinking about Jade, the from Beyond Good and Evil. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good example of when they do pull up a character archetype they like, and at least in Anita's case, she gets the character completely wrong, or at least half wrong at best, because she does state obvious things that are true about the character, and then says some shit that doesn't make any goddamn sense, like she doesn't solve her problems with violence. I don't know. I don't know. I remember spending a lot of this game beating up monsters. Blowing up stuff with the hovercraft, because the hovercraft is armed,
Yeah.
And I think that maybe what it is because I think what I think part of it is, and this is something that may, when you come up against this stuff in the future, something to remember is feminists are by and large they're I'm not going to say they're an arm of, but they take a lot of their cues and behavior from the radical left, and the sort of patron saint of that is Saul Alinsky and a book called Rules for Radicals. And the big takeaway from Rules for Radicals that you'll run into with feminists and others like that is one of the reasons why they often don't cite examples of what they want, because, as Alinsky said, it's important to attack the standards of others and to not have specific standards of your own, because then you're essentially amorphous and cannot be attacked in the way, basically, you can't be held to a standard because you have none. So if you have no examples, no one can say, you basically can't have someone come along and say, well, see, this fits this example you cited earlier. Isn't this what you want? Because then you have to, then the idea then being, well, you should be satisfied if you're a reasonable person, but you're not reasonable, so you want to make sure that you cannot be satisfied so you can keep pushing on the attack.
Yeah, and then you start making everything against you.
Yeah, and I think, and that's also something I did an old video way back about feminists maintaining relevancy, and one of the ways they do this is to essentially define what is abnormal and pull that upward. So things that we would consider normal behavior that's just no big deal, that has to become deviant and it's objectionable. So they have something to complain about, and you have to, basically can maintain this sense of crisis and urgency. So things that, 10 years ago would have seemed perfectly normal, like complimenting someone, hey, you look nice today. That's sexual harassment somehow, which is ludicrous. If I tell a lady at the office that I like her outfit, I have to be extraordinarily careful about how I say that. I can't say, well, you look fabulous today. I need to say your outfit looks fabulous today, as though I'm gay, which I'm not. If I was, that would be fine, because then I could add some extra emphasis, because no one suspects the gay guy standing next to me, but me, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
And I don't blame the gay guy. He didn't make this situation. It's the feminists that did this. And then there's the thing where you can be offended on behalf of someone else. That's the other thing that's fantastic. Is if me and the maintenance girl are having a conversation, and I talk about how fabulous I think her ass is, girl standing over there can supposedly get offended by the fact that and never mind the fact that that's my wife. That's not the important thing. No, the status between me and her is unimportant. Whether or not she was offended, or if I do a wolf whistle at my wife, that's offensive. That's anti-feminine. But like I'm wolf whistling at my wife, or if I actually successfully make a pass at a random stranger, that could be offensive, even though the random stranger is okay with it.
Yeah.
That might be why these examples they don't tend to use them, is because then they have a standard that they can be held to.
Yeah.
So maybe that might be useful. I don't know. They're watching this.
Yeah. A lot of times I'm shaking my head, yeah, and I have to remember you can't see it.
That's okay. We'll get used to this, and hopefully next time we'll have some more people, because we can throw something out there and see what sticks. But I think this is probably still in the prototype stage. So Sunday, we'll see if we can get some more people together and see how that goes. And then at some point, if you want to host one of these and drag somebody into it, I'd be happy to attend if I'm on, because I think this is a lot of fun. And you just pick a topic and go with it. I did one a while back with a friend of mine named Bigby about Kim Possible.
Oh, Kim Possible, yeah. That was one of my favorite TV shows when I was young.
Yeah,
I would always wake up just to watch it.
It was fantastic. It was a great show, and it was almost quite literally an archetypal, feminist. If a feminist could have written this, but the reason, again, it's not an example, is one, they don't want to be, and two, Kim doesn't ever spend time flying the flag. They don't. It's not like the Saturday afternoon's very special episode about the patriarchy. No, it's just her going out on adventures and whatnot. And one of the things we observed was we could not flip the genders on this show. you couldn't do it. There would be a shitstorm if Ron Stoppable was Rhonda Stoppable, and and it was Kenny Possible, and the shit that he went through happened to a girl instead. That would not fly.
No, it wouldn't.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't fault the show for that, because the show never really seemed to have an agenda other than, hey, this will be fun and people will watch it. And you watched it as a kid, and me and Bigby watched it as grown men. I have a Rufus doll on my cubicle at work. I have, if I had a webcam, I'd show you. I actually have little plushy dolls of Kim and Ron up here on my shelf with some robots and stuff. So I found them at the dollar store. There was a whole huge bin full of Kim Possible dolls, and I'm like, $1 each. There's 3 Rufuses and 1 each of Kim and Ron. I'm like, fuck that shit, $5, mine.
Wow.
It was great. Because we loved that show. It was amazing. And
yes, it was.
And it should be in a way, the whole thing of it, particularly kids' cartoons, kind of puts light to this idea that none of these shows cater to girls. You just have to look at the shows and say, well, are they trying to preach? No. If that's what you want out of the shows, then you're going to be disappointed. But you have lots of shows, even on Cartoon Network, where there are female leads, and literally the story doesn't make issue of it. It treats them just like, well, it's a person who, this happens to be a girl, but the story is about this. There you go.
Yeah, Kim Possible, I think it was more of a feminist show, but without being feminist. It had Kim doing a lot of things, and it empowered me to want to do things. I think that was one of the things that got me into martial arts.
Oh,
being able to do all those flips and attacks.
Do you study martial art in particular?
Taekwondo.
Okay. I studied Wing Chun for a little while, and I had some friends who taught me a little bit of Taekwondo and Kung Fu.
Okay, that's very good.
Yeah, I liked Wing Chun in particular because I've never been a particularly acrobatic person, and that it's like judo, that is not required. Your foot should, in fact, in Wing Chun in particular, they're like, your foot should not get above your waist. There's no reason for it. You've got hands for that stuff. And it's a difference of philosophy, but let's face it, being able to kick somebody boot to the head is, it's classic, folks, but how practical is it? I don't know. It depends on your fighting style. But for me, I've just not built that way, so it worked out quite well. I've considered going back into taking classes again, going for judo, or if I can find my old Wing Chun master if he hasn't retired, because that was a long time ago, folks.
Yeah, I'm 310 pounds, 6'2", and I like Taekwondo because I can put my foot in someone's face in a second. And people are looking at me like, what the hell did you just do?
It's like, yeah, those big guys can move. I'm of a similar build, but of course, scale that up to robot size, but you know what I mean. But that's an interesting thought, that the Kim Possible as an inspiration, in part for regardless of gender, depended a bit on not having to fly a flag. Because it didn't need to, and I think if it flew a flag, then it would have turned off more, particularly its male audience.
Possibly.
It went for 4 seasons, right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh God, I think even more than that.
It might have been 5 seasons. I'm pretty sure I've seen it all, but I don't remember how many seasons it was. It was a lot.
I thought it was like 4 years.
Well, that's what I mean by seasons. Of course, because back in the day, a season of a show was you wouldn't get a new one until next year. These days, that's not true necessarily.
It actually goes from season to season now.
Yeah, there was a time when for a kids show to have a full season, it needed something like 60 some odd episode, or I don't want to say 60, but because if you've ever heard of Robotech, one of the reasons why it had it was a an anime series, an early sort of a progenitor of what we're used to for anime on TV, but to basically broadcast it, they had to stitch 3 shows together because none of the ones they actually had the rights to were long enough to be picked up on syndication because there weren't enough episodes. So they stitched 3 shows together and made a cohesive narrative out of 3 different television shows from Japan, mangling the plots considerably in the process. And you can argue whether or not that made a better show out of it because the first show, which was Super Dimension Forces Macross, stood on its own in Japan. It has a long following and sequels. The other 2 shows that they stitched on for extra length do not. So, in fact, one of them was canceled early. So they don't necessarily stand on their own. But if you haven't seen Robotech, see if you can find it someplace. I would recommend it. It's a fun show. But I'm going to tell you right now, that shit is old. Because it's anime where girls have reasonable cup sizes. Let me put it that way. That's how old it is.
Well, I'll probably have to relook at this whole thing and write down what you told me to look for it.
Well, you'll have the recording, I guess. Also, so let's see here. So suggestions from the Geezer robot, Super Mario 2. Bunch of old TV shows, and but some of which you can probably find on Netflix. And my brain went. I've had a long day. I'm gonna be honest here. So my brain just went. So thankfully, the recording's there.
Yeah.
I apologize if I spent most of the time talking. I tend to do that. I don't want to. But like you said, you do sort of prepared stuff, whereas I do off the cuff. That's probably what's going on.
Yeah, and I'm not really good at talking. I can think of something, but I'm not quick about it. And how I do my videos, I'll look at the person's argument, cut it, and then think for maybe 10 or 20 seconds, what should I say?
Yeah. I sometimes do that.
Yeah.
I'll kind of usually look at something I want to talk about, kind of skim through it and go, okay, where do I start with this? And then I use that as a launch pad, and then I just go. And I'm just like, okay, we are full launch. Off we go. Sometimes I have prepared stuff like if I come up with something, the Red Robot has a thought, that stuff is usually more coherent because it's something that occurred to me while I was driving, and I talked it out to myself. When okay, this, and this, and then I try to remember it all when I get to recording. Which is not as successful as I want it to be, but I figure if it's really good material, I'll remember it. If it was crap, hopefully I forgot it.
Yeah.
Although I do
forget everything.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to drag this on too long. It's been great, but I think an hour is probably about as long as anyone's actually going to want to watch.
Yeah.
Now, if we have more people next time, maybe it'll go longer because it won't, be a bit more back and forth, and maybe you guys can shut me up some.
Yeah, and I am sorry that I didn't talk too much.
That's okay. If your style is different than mine, and that's fine. So next time, I'll see if I can give you a bit more warning, and then maybe we can talk about something specific, or just email me if you like. Hey, it would be fun to talk about this. You can be prepared, and I'll do my off the cuff, and we'll see who's. See if we can be more entertaining equally that way, because I probably talked too much. They probably got tired of me, and then I feel like the bully here. No, the Red Robot's kind. He's just full of hot air. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and like I said, if you wanted to do one of these on your own channel, I'm going to try to, if I can get it to download. I'll send it to you, or if you want to download it from my site and post it there, that'd be fantastic, because I really don't want this to be just my content, because that's otherwise I could just talk all day without other people.
Yeah.
I do plenty of that already. So for anyone who's subscribed to me, who's listening to this, I know I've talked over Eclectic quite a bit, but honestly, go watch his videos. He's actually really good when he's prepared and not being ambushed by a giant red mecha. So go watch and subscribe. I swear to God, he's a lot of fun, and you can see what he does to put up with me. So any last words?
Well, God, I suck.
Well, that's okay. You're not alone. I not only suck, I blow.
The more I do this, the more I'll get comfortable with thinking on the spot.
Well, then it'll be fun then, and I'll get better at not crowding out everything. So I hope so. Now this time frame was good for you, right? About 10ish or 10 Central is when we started.
Yeah, right now it's 11. Right now it's 9:11 for me.
Okay, so because I'm in Central Time, so you're in Pacific.
Yeah, I usually go to bed at about 8 because my fiance has medic school.
Ah, okay.
Cosmetic school? It's cosmetology.
Cosmetology. I'm sorry.
Cosmetic school. Something.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. She's saying cosmetic school is something else than cosmetology. Oh, beautiful. Okay.
So what's the
Well,
difference?
I am.
Where it's cosmetic.
Okay, what's cosmetology? Beauty,
It's
beautification
Uh-huh.
of hair, skin,
nails.
nails, and that's about it. What did I say? Was the other one?
Cosmetics.
Cosmetics? What's that? Chemistry.
Cosmetics is like Maybelline and stuff. There's
Oh.
no-
Okay, so
Okay.
so it's like the science of creating the number 25
Beauty.
red gloss coat that goes on me versus applying it. Okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
And she's in it right now because right now we have a business.
Hmm.
It's not up for anything. We sell soaps, lotion bars, and a lot of other things.
Ooh.
That are all organic.
Yeah, and we buy it all organic, and
Ooh.
we make it ourselves.
Well, if you guys ever get into to car wax, I use that to keep my my carapace nice and shiny.
Okay.
So, and I prefer. I know that's weird,
wait.
but it does something to the venting.
Wait a second. Say that again. I lost connection for a second.
Lavender scents do something to my venting and make me sneeze. So no lavender
Okay.
scented car wax.
Okay.
Use something manly like a shit. I got nothing. This joke went about as far as it's going to. All right. Well, Eclectic, I appreciate you having me on my channel, and again, if you want to download this video, then upload it on your channel, please do. And for my subscribers, go check Eclectic out. I'm going to put a link to his channel in the description when I get this done. You guys have a great day, and do you want the last word, Eclectic?
Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun.
All right. Well, you have a great day, and thank you, the fiance, for who shall go unnamed, for clarifying the difference between cosmetics and cosmetology. Good night, guys.